What we have here is an Evergo banana fan, quote unquote. These things were sold under Montgomery Ward, Leslie Locke, probably Evergo's labeled themselves later on, definitely. But yeah, the reason we call these things banana fans is because, one, these things didn't really have a model name except for Leslie Locke, where they called it the Saratoga, but this thing isn't labeled as such, so yeah, the other reason we call it as such is because of the vents. The radial vents kind of sort of look like bananas if you squint really hard. So, yeah. The banana fan is, or was, Evergo's answer to the Hunter original. This is a knockoff of such. This one uses a pancake motor with sealed ball bearings. It's not oil bath. So the giant rotor of a pancake motor is just, you know, mounted in there with regular ball bearings. Simple as that. So you don't have to oil it. Yay. Less maintenance. Yay. It originally had one of those double variable speed pull chains. Those dual chain variable speed pull chains. Yeah. Unfortunately, this one was missing when I got the fan, so I had to ghetto rig a solid state wall control into this thing. Basically, this is a Hunter control, so it's already pre-tuned, because it doesn't have a trim pot, it's pre-tuned for a Hunter original. You know, drawing 2.5 amps, so it should work fine on this. Yeah, the variable speed pull chain was finicky. Yeah, it works fine most of the time, but sometimes it would bind up and it become hard to pull, and some people just opt to rip it out. So anyway, let's see what this thing does. I'm going to start it on low. You can see the windings. Yes, this is a shaded pull pancake motor. Draws 2.3 amps. The shaded pull original at the time, the Hunter original, drew 2.5 amps. Now, as you can see, the low speed is actually very average on the lowest setting. And this motor was, by default, coupled with a variable speed control. Of course, you know, it doesn't have it because, you know, reasons, probably failure of the control itself, or rather the mechanism for the dual pull chain. You know, you'd pull one pull chain, it would make it faster. Pull one pull chain, it would make it slower, and it would also click off. So, found this one on Marketplace during the age of the plague. Alright. Nice and cheap. It was missing the canopy, missing the control, probably had a light on it at one point. Someone had ghetto rigged it. You know, they ran 2 other leads into it, so it could be used from the wall, like you couldn't already do that. Stupid, whatever. But yeah, missing canopy, missing switch cap, missing control, but for $5, I'm not going to complain. Now, banana fans of this type were usually labeled Montgomery Ward. You know, brown and brass. I used to actually have a dark brown, almost black, and brass one, which was actually labeled Leslie Locke, with the mutant blades, which were kind of cool. But, you know, then I found a spinner banana, so, you know, and then one of these labeled Montgomery Ward, so I didn't need that. Another interesting thing to state here, the Leslie Locke version I had was actually, you know, cast iron motor. Cast iron casting and everything. This one's a cast aluminum motor. So it is nowhere near as heavy as a Hunter original. I mean, this thing probably weighs about 20 pounds. Probably 20 pounds. I mean, I've had cast iron spinner motor fans weigh more than this thing. So, yeah, this full cast aluminum motor is actually very light. Very lightweight. Which is a bit surprising, considering pancake motors are usually heavy as all hell. Let's turn it up about an eighth. And this motor, like a lot of R&M originals, it has some moans to it. It groans, it moans, it heaves, it haws, you know. I think normally that's because of a worn shaft. I mean, not worn to the point of a cyclic flux buzz, but worn just enough to make things a little weird, a little more moany than you would expect. Once that tolerance goes off, things start to get loud. You can actually hear it. Put it up to about a medium. Before I put this thing up, the old box in the ceiling was not rated for fan support. And one of the screw holes decided it wanted to strip out, which, you know, kind of led to a problem. So I had to rip out the old box, chisel out some of the plywood on the ceiling, you know, to fit the new round fan box, because the Home Depot didn't have fucking octagons because they suck. No, not a single deep 2 1/8 inch octagon in all of Home Depot. What the hell is that shit? No, they have these round turds now. Yeah, they work the same, but they don't always fit the same hole, so you have to chisel it out a little more. Makes it look ugly and stupid. I don't like that. Of course, Home Depot is the only place that's open on friggin' Easter Sunday, or Zombie Jesus Day, so whatever. Anyway, let's go up a little more. Another eighth of a turn or so. It's getting faster. So I have this thing mounted to some random U-bolt I found. I don't know where the hell it came from, but it's designed for regular screw holes. And since this fan actually weighs less than your typical original, it works fine. In fact, I'll probably do more originals and antiques in here now. I don't have to use a hook. Now I actually have a fan-rated box. Woo! Enough of that crap. Let's go to straight up high. Now, high speed's not that fast. And of course, the whole thing has a very low-pitched moan to it. Aside from the 60-cycle hum induced by the solid-state control. I would say this thing is doing about 160 RPMs on high, which is kind of pathetic for a 52-inch pancake motor fan. You know, you would expect something like this to go faster, do like 200 or so. This is the same pancake motor they used in the beginning. The very earliest bananas were actually legitimate oil bath. These are very hard to find, for obvious reasons. Then, using the same pancake motor, they went to a sealed bearing, sealed ball bearing type design. Oil-free. Okay. Then, the next version went spinner. I believe it was an open-ended spinner motor they started with. Basically, the same 188 millimeter Union motor they'd been using, Union had been using in their standard fans, quite the powerhouse, went into this. And honestly, the spinner motor bananas are superior to the pancake bananas. They're faster, with the same 15-degree blade pitch as this one. And it hauls ass. But this one's a pancake, and they're harder to find, so I can put up with the disappointing performance because it's still cool. Maybe it's just a hipster way of looking at things. You know, cool because it sucks. I don't know. But, fucking hipsters. Yeah, it's moving the air. It's a 15-degree blade pitch again. It's just not that fast. You can hear it moaning and groaning. And now we click it off. So yeah, the canopy for this would be a plastic, I would assume it'd be plastic, two-piece canopy similar to a Hunter original canopy. Similar-ish. Yeah, initially a lot of manufacturers, not a lot, but a few manufacturers, Commander, Union / Evergo, Classic Fan Company, you know, Encon even, or rather Firebird, a whole bunch of companies, a good handful of companies, decided, oh, we're going to copy the Hunter original, we're going to knock it off, right, using the same kind of oil bath design. Okay, then Hunter brought down the friggin', you know, copyright suits, so that everything had to switch to spinner or, you know, die out completely, alright? The only company, alright, that actually kind of got away with this for a little while was the Classic Fan Company. And the reason for that was because, well, the Classic Fan Company did copy Hunter's designs, but they copied their antique designs. Like the 1.9 amp antique pancake motor. Okay? The old version with the higher RPM of about 225 or so. Now that patent had expired, so they got away with it. But the other ones, they used a newer design, and nope. But in some ways, Classic Fans are actually better than R&M originals of the same era because they are built like antiques. Now this thing's built like an R&M original. Slightly inefficient. Of course, yeah, it was made in Hong Kong, whatever. It's not the same. Not as good. But there you go. This was an Evergo banana fan. Probably from the very early 80s.